Katie here. It has been a while since I've done a video, so I just kind of wanted to pop on face to face and kind of just greet you if you have hung around and have not unsubscribed because it's been so long. Thank you very much. If you've subscribed to my channel since I've posted a new video, hopefully this will let you know a little bit about what my channel is about, which is documenting my family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. And I love to show you how through these videos. So let's get started with my first video of 2023. Now in today's video, I'm using a photo of my husband and I with our middle son, and we went to visit him at college for his birthday. Now, because the photo is black and white, I decided to use this fresh paint collection from my stash, and it has a lot of bright colors, bold patterns, but again, because the photo is black and white, it's going to go perfect with these patterns. So you can see here, I pulled out some of them, and I am actually playing along with Bash Your Scrapbook Stash, and I am also going to be using the fresh paint acrylic shapes again, just to kind of use my stash and document this photo. So I have already pre-cut everything. And because I kind of want this kind of an artsy layout, where he goes to college is very artsy, I want to add a lot of distressing, black ink distressing at that, to all of these pieces. Now, you guys usually see me do this, but with a sponge for a softer look. But you can also just turn your ink pad, like I'm doing here, over onto your project. Now, because I want it heavily distressed, you can see that in the corners and kind of on the side, I'm really dragging that ink pad over. So you can do it a million ways. Again, I want this look because I want that artsy feel to get to, again, kind of document the place where he goes to college. So I'm going to finish up these tiny pieces and then this piece. This is going to be my base, and I contemplated trimming it down like I usually do so you can see some cardstock frame all the way around, but I just thought that it would take away from the layout. So I am going to really add that ink to the sides as well as those corners, just kind of really making it basically look like the paper pack is named Fresh Paint. So I want, like when artists paint canvases, they've got that ink all the way around the outside of that canvas. And I think that it's going to just really go well with these papers. So this heart pattern is actually one of my favorites from this collection back when we had it. And I definitely wanted it to be the biggest because, again, we're talking about our son. I loved being there with him. I loved seeing the town through his eyes. And then just love all the way around. So I am stacking these pieces. Now these pieces are actually the same size. They're 6 by 8, but because I'm going to offset them slightly, they really don't look like the same size, if that makes sense. And I'm going to get these glued down, and then I'm going to place that photo just temporarily so I will know where I want this gingham or this checkered paper. Now, originally the sketch calls it for just to kind of go flush with that graffiti paper, but I'm liking how it's kind of peeking out from behind the photo. I am going to pull out my T-ruler to make sure these two pieces are straight. That one came off, so I'm going to move my photo back into place just so I'll know how far up that needs to go. And then as long as they're straight, I'm going to go ahead and get those really adhered down and press that adhesive down to my layout. So I'm going to bring the photo back in, and then we are going to start with some of the smaller pieces of paper. So there is this cardstock that I've already cut down the center, and now I'm dovetailing the end. I will end up kind of chopping that, but I really wanted a lot of red in this layout. So he plays basketball for this team, and their colors actually are black, red, and white. And then I found another little pennant in my stash. Again, this layout is all about stash. You'll see me pull out some old stash here in just a second. And then, of course, fresh paint is only maybe a year or so old. And then I am going to start working on some embellishment clusters. Now, the majority of the embellishment clusters will come from the sticker sheet from Fresh Paint. I absolutely adore it. Now, when this collection first came out, I was kind of on the fence about it, to be honest. It just, I couldn't envision in my mind what I would use it for. And then I have since used it for baking cookies, believe it or not. I'll leave that link down below. And then, of course, now a birthday. So you really wouldn't look at this paper collection and think birthday. But in the end, this layout is really ending up to be one of my favorites of our middle son. So the sticker sheet has these little strip journals or strip sentiments. That's what I'm using for to place on the photo. And then it's got these different color stars. So I'm going to place those in the top right, and then in the bottom left, I'm going to be creating another little embellishment cluster. And I kind of want to keep with the same color of the stars, which is the nectarine, and that candy apple, which is the same color as that red cardstock. And then this is a zip strip. Now, I love using zip strips on cards as well as borders and such for layouts. And this one just said happy, 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 which I loved. And then this border sticker sheet, I'm going to use these little X's on the top and the bottom edge of this layout to kind of look like stitching. If you are a follower of mine, you know that I doodle a lot. And one of my favorite things to do is just kind of add some hand stitching, some little X's that makes it look like you just kind of tacked it down with thread. And so I really liked that these stickers gave me the same look. So before I put down this zip strip, I definitely want to add some black ink to the edges so it'll match all the other pieces. And then I am just going to glue that down right under the photo. And I'm really liking how that is looking. So now I'm going to pull out some more stickers from the sticker sheet. This little cluster up at the top right, truthfully, just kind of got out of hand. But I kept seeing stickers that I wanted to use. And so I kept adding and adding and adding. And I think at that point, that's when I realized that I'm probably going to have to up my embellishment game in the bottom left. So I'm going to pull out the acrylic shapes from the Fresh Paint. And you've got skateboards, you've got flames, you've got circles, hearts, stars. For the most part, I'm looking just for some stars. I definitely want to bring in some black stars just to kind of add that bold touch. You know, you've got a lot of black and white around the photo, and then, of course, the ink. But I really think that the layout just needs some bold stars around the outside edges. And I think that these acrylic shapes are really going to do that. I am going to pull out a nectarine star from the rainbow acrylic star shapes. And I'm having trouble punching it out, but I will get that done, and I will get those adhered down here in just a second. So this is a perfect opportunity. Again, I kind of alluded to the fact that I've taken a break. I am part of a design team, and we had our 31 days of Christmas cards in October. And then November, we really started heavily on our Days of December sketchbook. And then, of course, just all of the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. You guys know what that is like. And so I just kind of really had to just kind of step back mentally. And as most of you know, I do work full time outside of the home. So a lot of times when I get off work, as much joy as creating brings me, there's just really no time for it. And that kind of is what happened in November and December. So I hope that you are liking this layout so far. If you're new here, if you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and go ahead and share with your friends. It helps my little YouTube channel grow. And then, of course, I have links down below to any products that I used. You can shop those links. But if you aren't in the position to shop, just simply liking and sharing and commenting, and then, of course, subscribing and signing up for notifications helps me out almost as much as shopping from those links do. And I really, really appreciate it. So I have finished pulling out all the acrylic shapes that I'm going to use. And I actually found a birthday fun acrylic shape from the Celebrating You collection. It's heavily birthday, and I pulled it out and I'm going to use it as well. So one of my favorite methods to attach acrylic is using micro glue dots. They're super, super tiny, and they just attach to the back of the acrylic shapes. So I'm just going to use the micro, which is the tiniest, on this one because there isn't a whole lot of real estate on this little acrylic shape. I'm going to attach those, and that's what will adhere this acrylic to that silver glitter piece that you kind of see underneath the photo. Now, you can also use liquid adhesive, but glitter paper really isn't very forgiving. And so you really have to get something that's pretty strong, and these glue dots seem to work. So I'm going to get that adhered down again right under that happy, happy, happy zip strip. And then I am going to pull out more of my stash, and we are actually going to be using some brads. Yes, brads. I've had them for forever, as I'm sure most of you do. So I thought that that would be a fun addition to this Bash Your Stash scrapbook layout. If you are new to brads, the way it works is you want to puncture your project. So I'm using a paper piercer, just kind of really making that hole big since it has to go through several layers of cardstock and paper. And then you just insert your brad, and then the little prongs separate, and then you just kind of push them out, and that's what keeps them on your project. So I'm really loving those bright red brads on that side of the birthday fun. Again, against that silver, kind of makes it pop. So even though there is that little speech bubble at the top right in my embellishment cluster, that's not going to be enough space for my journaling. So I just took some 1/2-inch strips of white daisy cardstock, and these are cut to 4 inches, doodled around the edges and adhered those down. And then you can see here, I'm just taking my journaling pen and just adding dots here and there. And then I'm going to pull out that sticker sheet again and then add some more stars up at the top near the journaling strips, as well as a word sticker over there to the right. And then, like I said, I really got to beef up my embellishment cluster down at the bottom left. So let's take a look at the sticker sheet and let's see what stickers I can use. So once again, I am just going to kind of play. Again, you see me going back to that right cluster, and I had to stop myself, literally. It's just I kept finding stickers that just kind of went there, like this smiley face one. Again, because I used the journaling strips, I really don't need a whole lot of those lines on that speech bubble, and that's why I decided to use that smiley face. Then there is this little sticker that says yes. And so I am going to just adhere it down to that little red cardstock pennant. And then there are these cute little sneakers. Now, granted, these aren't basketball shoe sneakers, but I really like the way they look. They're high top. They're very characteristic of what our son would wear. And so I'm going to adhere those down underneath the stars. So that bottom tennis shoe I've put on my anti-static pouch, I'm going to add some 3D foam tape to that after I adhere these two little stars. Now there is a yellow one and a pink one. And originally I said I wanted all my stars the same color scheme, but I just ran out of nectarine and candy apple. So I'm going to use some 3D foam tape again to attach to this top sneaker. And then I will adhere that down over that other one. And again, because that top right embellishment cluster kind of goes over the corner of those pattern papers, I'm really liking how these sneakers down at the bottom left do the same. And so now I feel that all my embellishment clusters are even. I'm loving the addition of the silver birthday fun. And then, yeah, just here are some close-ups. Again, using my stash. I'll leave links down below so you can shop if you feel so compelled. Again, it is my stash, but some of these items are still available. And then, as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so glad to be back. I'm hoping to have some more videos in the month of January. And if you don't want to miss that, go ahead and subscribe and sign up for notifications. And then don't forget to like and comment on this video and share with your friends if you think it's something that they would like. Thank you so much and have a wonderful week.